Hey guys and girls, I'm Carl. Welcome to my movie film show. Feel free to subscribe down below if you would like to. And I'm here today to talk about a movie called Saltburn. It's out on Amazon Prime. It's in some movie theaters as well. When this movie finished, I was left with one thought. What the hell did I just watch? The movie stars Barry Keoghan, a fellow Irishman, a phenomenal actor who's appeared in so many movies in recent years. He's really exploded in Hollywood. It's great to see. And I only found out after I watched the movie that it was made by Fennell. Fennell, if you don't know, made Promising Young Woman a few years ago. A fantastic movie, one of my favourite movies of the last few years. A phenomenally told story in that one. And in this movie was awful. Straight away when the movie started, I was immediately put off by the fact that it was in 4:3 aspect ratio, which is always a strange thing to see nowadays because there's no need for it. It's not artistic, it's not clever, it's not good, it's just wasting space on the screen. I don't understand why any filmmaker would do that nowadays. It's like having dead air on a radio station or on a YouTube channel. It's completely unnecessary and it doesn't benefit anybody. And it's a minor thing, it's an artistic choice, sure, but it just seems incredibly idiotic in 2023-24 to be doing a 4:3 aspect ratio when most TVs are 16:9 aspect ratio. I know that's a trivial thing, but to me it's very annoying and stupid. But also the film looked really bad initially. It didn't look like a proper movie. It looked like a crappy independent movie. Like a crappy independent movie that they somehow tricked Barry Keoghan to be in. Rosamund Pike is in there too. Some other well-known actors in there. Carrie Mulligan pops up in it. Of course, she was in Promising Young Woman. Yeah, the story flows along. You're like, okay, this is gonna get interesting. Okay, you know, there's a bit of romantic connection in there, and we're not going to go through all the story. The movie tries to be really clever, and they tried to do the whole thing of, at the end, almost a Scooby-Doo look back of like, here's what he was actually up to when you weren't expecting it. And I can understand how some people are going to watch this movie and go, yeah, this is a really clever movie, I really enjoyed it. But the movie just dragged and dragged and dragged, especially the last half an hour. There were so many points it was like, okay, now it's going to end. Okay, credits are going to roll. Okay, now it's going to happen. And it just kept going. And there were so many just random things thrown in there for the sake of random things. And sure, slow-paced movies have their place in the world. Sometimes it works fantastic, and this is a slow-paced movie, and for I'd say 70% of it works really well. There was times with this movie where I was really engrossed in it, I was really engaged in what was happening, and just the roundups of everything was just awful, in my opinion. Now I'd say some people are going to love this movie. Some people will be put off by, you know, the nudity and sex and stuff like that in the movie. It's not that wild of a sex movie. Some people have said it's a really raunchy movie, and not really. Although if I had gone through life without seeing Barry Keoghan's penis, I would have been happy. So I'm just saying that was kind of unnecessary in the movie. But you know, good job, Fennell. I guess that's the thing. Overall, with the movie, the one thing that will stand out in my mind, I always say with really good movies, you always get that one scene that sticks in your mind and makes you always remember that movie. Well, this movie has a scene that's going to stick in my mind for a long fucking time. A long time. But not because it's a good scene, not because it's a good movie. I think most people who watch the movie will already know what scene I'm going to talk about, because it's a very awkward scene, it's a very random scene, it's a scene I don't understand at all. It's when, after Felix has died, and spoiler alert, at the funeral, when Barry Keoghan's character decides to have sex with the grave. Yeah, and they hold on that shot for a long time, with no music. Just silence, just humping the ground. Why was that a thing in a movie that I watched? Very odd. Very odd. But the movie had some intrigue to it. I don't think the payoff was done particularly well. As I say, the last half an hour was real drag. Some points it just felt like they were taking forever to get to, and they tried to be too clever towards the end of the movie. And I think that is the movie's main problem, is they tried to be too clever. I think a general audience will walk away from this movie in the same way I did, going, what the hell did I just watch? And maybe it's one of those movies you just have to sit with for a couple of weeks, and a few weeks later it'll pop in your mind, oh, this thing happened and this was really cool and that part was great. But I can't think off the top of my head of any other moments in the movie that stick out other than that weird grave scene, as I mentioned. It's disturbing, very disturbing. Saltburn, it had promise, but it had so much random weird shit with it. I would say it's a good performance from Barry Keoghan. The other performances in the movie were a little bit over the top. Rosamund Pike in particular, I think, was over the top with her performance, but perhaps that was just the way the character was written. The character was a bit eccentric and over the top too. So if you're thinking about watching Saltburn on Amazon Prime, my suggestion would be to watch literally anything else. And maybe for me, it just wasn't to my taste. So I'd love to know from anybody out there who adored this movie, why? Just tell me in the comment section below. And if you hated the movie, tell me in the comment section below why. And if you got scarred for life by that grave scene, tell me in the comment section too, because I just can't get that out of my mind now. Scarred for life.